I'm going to start our discussion by talking to Mark Reiner. Mark, Sony has taken the lead in 3D, and you're actually selling cameras and equipment into that sports niche now. Have you been successful because of the niche, or because it's obvious what 3D can do in sport?
I think it's a bit of both. I mean, I work for the professional side of Sony, so we basically have a long track record of developing OB trucks and outside broadcast facilities for sports providers. And one of the drivers in 3D has been the creation of 3D Sports, which culminated this year in Sony's sponsorship with FIFA of the 3D World Cup. Now that, if you like, was a bit of a watershed moment, because from up to that point, most sports events have been one-off, specific special events with special budgets around that. And to do the World Cup, the 25 matches that we covered there, we had to rework 3D workflows into a more, if you like, HD cost base. And also rigging times and turnaround were very important. So we were going from one stadium to the other on a day basis. So basically we had to get our rig times down. So all of the, if you like, all of the 3Ds that have gone before have had the luxury of longer rig times and all those things, which has driven the price of 3D up in, if you like, on the broadcaster's side.
Is that something you could really have done without that increment in cost at a time like this?
I think the technology is at the right point. So basically, 3D's a long burn in the broadcast market. You know, it's been going on for a number of years. 3D in cinema has been going on for even longer. And I think the technology has now reached a point whereby we can reliably deliver 3D to consumers in cinemas and home. We can give them live sports events from around the world using, if you like, the infrastructures we have today in place for HD. So we're adding, if you like, a second dimension or third dimension onto the platforms we already have in place. So we're driving the technology harder. The increase in cost comes from the fact that you know, there are new jobs being created in this area. There's a job of a stereographer, who's the guy who's responsible for 3D. There's a job of a convergence operator, who's responsible for converging the 3D image on the action, if you like, on the field. And there's also the job of the, if you like, the rights owner to drive those rights out into as many paths as they can. So in other words, maybe it's not just broadcasting, maybe it's also cinemas. And for the World Cup we hit 600 cinemas in 15 countries, which was very interesting. Probably more so than 2D hit in cinema-based audiences, and the uptake was very good in cinemas as well. So it's about giving people a new experience, be it broadcast or cinema-based activity.
Has that really been the crux of it, though? It's a cinema event?
I think so. I think that the events worked very well in Germany in 2D, and basically we took that, FIFA took that policy forward into 3D for this World Cup, and they wanted to show something more in the cinemas, and the third dimension was obviously one thing they wanted to show.